Hey friends, thanks for joining me today as I show you my healthier version of sweet potato casserole. While I'm doing this, I'm going to be sharing with you some tips to avoid holiday weight gain. I've already gotten started peeling the potatoes, so let's jump into those tips. If you're like me, you may tend to overindulge a bit during the holiday season, and odds are we'll both do it again and again over the next few weeks. But that doesn't mean we're destined for weight gain or poor health. It just means we need to strategize a little. So here's how I'm going to enjoy the holiday season without gaining weight. So tip number 1 is to get moving. It's always important to exercise, but it's especially helpful during the holiday season. A favorite holiday tradition for our family is sitting on the couch watching Christmas movies or football games. Go ahead and smash that like button if you're with me. But all this inactivity can sabotage my weight loss goals, especially if accompanied by overeating, which usually happens. So since it's likely I will still watch those holiday hallmarks and football, I need to be sure I'm exercising regularly in order to stay on track. Even something as simple as a family walk can help get my mind off of food while making space to connect with my loved ones. Preventing weight gain is just a matter of math. If you're eating more, you have to burn more. I'll be back with more tips in just a minute. So I got my sweet potatoes all peeled and threw them in the pot of water. I think they have about 10 minutes left on the timer. The point of me sharing this recipe with you guys today is because 1, it's my favorite, like of all time favorite thing to cook during Thanksgiving and Christmas. I love sweet potato casserole. And 2, I wanted to show you guys a healthier way to actually do that and accomplish the same or better even, I think, taste in your casserole. And people are never gonna know the difference in these little substitutions that I'm gonna show you guys. So when we're thinking about baking or cooking of any kind, there's so many different little things that you can do to substitute out like the higher calorie or bad fat type things. So instead of using like vegetable oil in your recipes, you can use applesauce. When I found that out, I was like, what? That's awesome. So you're cutting a ton of calories and that really bad fat out of your recipes when you're actually using applesauce instead. So there's this small change that nobody ever knows, and actually your stuff tastes better. It's a little bit more moist. So just little things in your baking you can change, and we can still enjoy some of those foods that maybe we aren't going to enjoy often, but we'd like to enjoy every now and then with our family, some baked goods, cookies, things like that. I'm going to show you guys my little substitutions in this recipe. I'm also going to link in the description below the recipe so you can grab it really quickly. And do me a favor, comment, like let me know what is your favorite thing to cook during the holiday season. I would love to know. It's just really interesting to hear what other people do, their traditions or their favorite meals. I always ask my kids every year because it changes, what's your favorite thing to eat at Thanksgiving? So the actual recipe for the mashed sweet potatoes calls for 4 large sweet potatoes. I only had 3 large sweet potatoes, so that's why you saw 3 large and 2 smaller ones. So I had 5. And then it calls for 1/2 cup of sugar, and then salt, vanilla extract, eggs, and unsalted butter. Again, I'll put the actual amounts in the description below. I did calculations on this for my own sake and was surprised, but the actual calorie count in 1/2 cup of sugar is 386 calories. What? 386 calories, like in 1/2 cup of sugar, and that's just white sugar. So I am substituting the white sugar for Truvia. I've always done this in my coffee, for instance, but once I found Truvia for baking, I was like, this is awesome. So this is what I use. I just use this baking blend. So it actually has a little bit of sugar in it. It's cane sugar blend. You guys can see that right there. So it has 75% less calories. Pretty great trade out. And if you turn the package around, they've made life really easy for us. And they actually have this little conversion chart here. You guys probably can't see that because I'm recording on my iPhone. But anyways, it's not gonna zoom in and focus for you guys. But anyways, this is the conversion chart on the back, and it's really handy. So if I want to know how much 1/2 cup of sugar is using this blend, I can just look right here on the back at the actual sugar. It says 1/2 cup of sugar is actually 1/4 of a cup of this Truvia blend. So I did the math on the calories for that. This is 10 calories per teaspoon. So if I was going to be doing 1/4 of a cup of this Truvia cane sugar blend, I'm actually cutting my calories in this entire recipe from 386 to 95. 95 calories. I was pretty excited about that. Okay, so let's talk about the second half of the recipe, the topping. This sweet potato casserole has an amazing streusel topping, but it's super high in sugar. So the original recipe calls for 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of all-purpose flour, and 1 cup of chopped pecans, and a half a cup of unsalted butter. So it's a total, in this whole recipe, there's 1 whole cup of butter. It's unsalted butter, but it's still butter, and it's still really high in calories for the entire recipe. So cutting out where we can is really great. The other part that I've cut out is in the brown sugar. Truvia also has a brown sugar blend. Dun, 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 brown sugar. Yeah, this is really great. So brown sugar blend, same thing, 75% less calories. And if you turn it over, it has the exact same conversion chart, and it says 10 calories per teaspoon. Same stuff here, guys, but it's brown sugar. So I went ahead and calculated what it would be for 1 cup of brown sugar, and that's 551 calories for 1 cup of brown sugar. Truvia, if you use the same thing and then do the conversion chart, we're going to be using half a cup of it, and it's actually only 210 calories versus 551. That's a huge difference in calories. So we're cutting our calories drastically by just making a couple of changes in this recipe. So the entire calorie count of this casserole for the whole thing, this is not per serving, this is for the whole casserole. The entire calorie count for just those substitutions would have been 937 calories in just the sugar, not the butter, not the flour, not anything else, not the pecans. There's calories in all of those other things, but just taking out the sugar and substituting it with Truvia saves you 632 calories. What? That's awesome. So it's actually only 305 calories of sugar that we're putting in the entire casserole versus 937. That's pretty awesome. So you're welcome. You guys enjoy this recipe. I hope that you love it as much as I do. And please let me know in the comment section below if you've tried it, if you liked it, if you were like, nah, it's not my thing. Hey, that's okay. Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you. While I'm showing you the recipe and how to actually make the sweet potato casserole, I'm going to share with you the rest of these tips on how to avoid holiday weight gain. So I already shared with you tip number 1, but let's talk about tip number 2, which is focusing on veggies. After an indulgent Thanksgiving weekend, it's time to pack meals and snacks with produce. Snack on frozen berries and plain Greek yogurt or veggies with hummus. Make meals that are mostly veggies with some lean proteins, heart-healthy fats such as oils, nuts, and avocado, and healthy whole grains. Tip number 3 is to eat regular meals. So don't starve yourself or skip meals to prepare for a big binge. You'll be too hungry to make good choices. And this is really bad for your metabolism, guys. Instead, eat regular healthy meals so you're not ravenous when it's time for the holiday meal. Which leads me to tip number 4, practicing mindful eating. We're often in a rush during the holiday season, which usually leads to multitasking during meals. If we eat while we're distracted, we're far more likely to overeat. This is because you're unable to pay attention to your body's signal letting you know when you're full. To prevent this, eat mindfully and minimize distractions such as eating while driving, watching TV, or even scrolling Instagram. I know, but you guys can do it. Make sure you take time to sit down to each meal. It can also be helpful to take a few deep breaths before you start eating. I do this and it really helps. This can induce relaxation and help you keep your full attention on your plate rather than your to-do list. Tip number 5, as I'm showing you today, is to modify your recipes. But before we go any further, I want to invite you to go ahead and click that red subscribe button if you haven't already and join my subscriber community. It's free and a great way to bookmark my channel and come back for weekly Healthy from the Inside Out videos. Okay, let's get back to it. High-calorie homemade goods are a big cause of weight gain for me during the holidays. However, you can lower the calorie content of recipes in many ways, and here are just a few ideas. In your baking, you can replace butter and oil with applesauce or even mashed bananas. Instead of sugar, you can use a lower-calorie substitute like stevia or my favorite, Truvia. For cooking, you can flavor your dishes with herbs and spices instead of butter, and you can replace cream cheese, sour cream, and mayonnaise
this with Greek yogurt. Tip number 6 is to ditch the all or nothing thinking. This is a really big one for me. In the past, I've approached holiday eating with the mindset that I'll go all in and eat everything at every opportunity with the full intent to deal with any weight gain in January. I have learned the hard way it's much easier to stay on track than it is to get back on track after a month-long stretch of indulgence. So, after you splurge on a meal or two at a party, don't worry about it. Just get back to your normal routine right away. One fumble can't ruin your weight loss goals, but a long series of fumbles can. During the holiday season, many people have an "I'll start tomorrow" mentality, which can end up prolonging unhealthy habits. So, if you're serious about controlling your weight, it's helpful to set limits for yourself and stick to your goals regarding food intake. It's okay to say no to certain foods and habits that aren't helpful for your goals. It's also important to be aware that you might have a slip up or two. People often abandon their goals after this happens. However, it's best to simply move on and make a healthier choice the next time you eat. Here's the bottom line, guys. While staying on top of your weight loss goals can feel daunting during the holiday season, these tips can help you stay on track. Beyond these tips, it's really just best to make sure you're getting plenty of exercise and limiting your intake of holiday treats.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, please take a minute and click that subscribe button for more healthy from the inside out videos, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you guys so much for being with me. Enjoy your holidays.